Nursing homes. When I say that, what do you think about? You see an image probably of a very negative image of people slouched in wheelchairs sitting before a TV doing an old game show or just static. A lot of people, based on that image, say, I never ever want to go into a nursing home. And that may be a good decision to make, but don't do that because of a bad image without really knowing what's going on in nursing homes. Nursing homes or assisted living facilities, which are somewhat different, offer incredible opportunities for people. There are a lot of advantages. The staff there is trained to take care of people. The nurses, you have doctor's visits, you have aides, they know what they're doing. They provide food, and they will take care of, make sure that all the medication is taken on time. Also, it's wonderful to hang out with people. It's great to hang out with younger people, but it's also great to hang out with people of our own age. We can talk about Ed Sullivan and the Honeymooners and Howdy Doody, and we don't have to pretend like we know who Twisted Sister is. And we don't have to, we can shuffle along at our own pace, and we're not going to be cut off by people in shorts who pretend like they don't see us. So there are a lot of advantages to moving in to a facility like this. The major problem, however, is that people wait too long to make the decision. I don't know what percentage, but a large percentage of people going into nursing homes are people coming out of the hospital. And their families haven't really even thought about what they should do, and they're running around at the last minute. If you or someone that you love in your family is getting to the point where they can't take care of themselves, then you've got to think about, how am I going to do either home care, which I talk about in another segment, or what about assisted living or a nursing home? Now, assisted living, you can go there and they have different levels. You start off maybe with your own apartment, you eat in common, then they have maybe nursing home facilities if you get more disabled. Now, one of the problems, of course, is that these facilities cost a lot of money. Home care can cost a lot of money. If you're having nurses the same level of care at home, it might cost you a whole lot more if you're having like nurses come to take care of a loved one rather than a nursing home. Medicare doesn't pay for either assisted living or for nursing homes. Medicare will pay some nursing home expenses if it's designed for rehabilitation. Someone comes out after an operation and needs to be rehabilitated in terms of walking or whatever. Medicare will pay for that. Long-term care policies may care, well, obviously, if they are proper, will be paying for nursing care for you. Also, if the person that is being treated is a veteran, there might be veteran benefits. Now, there's another program that people a lot of times confuse with Medicare, and that's called Medicaid. Medicaid is more of a kind of a welfare program designed mostly for low-income people. Medicaid does pay for nursing home expenses. There is an industry called Medicaid planning, and a lawyer might be able to arrange your finances so that you don't have to spend everything that you've ever earned before you become eligible for Medicaid. If you're interested in going that route, however, it's absolutely essential to talk to a lawyer because it is very, very complicated. Okay, how do you find a good facility? First of all, there are geriatric care managers. It's kind of a niche industry that's developing and will no doubt get bigger. And these people may be ex-social workers or ex-nurses that specialize in geriatrics. And they can come to your house, talk to you. They can help you go back to home care. They can look at the home and tell you what you should do to make sure it's safe. They can help you find an appropriate nursing home if that is what you and your family decide. Now, of course, they're going to charge you some money, between maybe $50 and $200 an hour. But if you're interested, there's a website, www.caremanagers.org, and you can get some names from them. Another place to look if you're looking for a nursing home is to go to your local area agency on aging, and they have an ombudsman. There are 500 programs like that in the country. And his or her job is to keep track of nursing homes in their in their area. And they do surveys, they do inspections. Now, they're not going to recommend a particular place, but they can tell you what their studies have indicated. Hospital social workers would be another good source. Elder law lawyers would be another good source of information about either assisted living facilities or nursing homes. A good one is put out by Medicare itself. Go to www.medicare.gov, and go to the site Medicare Nursing Home Compare. And that program will list nursing, put in your zip code, and it will list nursing homes in your area. And indeed, they actually rate them. Some will get 5 stars, 4 stars. They will also give you some questions to ask when you are visiting, looking for a possible place. Now, what about visits? You should obviously visit at least 2 different places. People tend to see in contrast. Go to one home and you think, oh, that's really terrific, it has a lot of good things. But only if you go to the second home are you going to know what the first home doesn't have. And so you see things by comparing them. And obviously, or not obviously, but if you're kind of honing in on one particular facility, you should go there at different times of the day. Maybe at breakfast or maybe after dinner to see how that works out. The website I gave you will give you a list of questions to be looking for. I'll give you 3 that make sense, that I think are really good ones. First, is this what they call person-centered care? And by that I mean that do the people that live there have to get up all at the same time and eat at the same time? If it is person-centered care, there's a lot more flexibility. You can sleep in the morning, and that's what I'd kind of like to do. So you got to ask that question. How rigid are the rules around here? Can people kind of make their own schedules? Second thing is something called consistent assignments. Will the same nurses, will the same aides, and the same doctor be assigned to the particular patient, or will they see different people all the time? Obviously, it's better to have assignment to a particular patient because then relationships will be formed, and people will just feel better about knowing, and they'll know more about the patient, and the patient will know them. The last question is turnover. What's the turnover at this institution in terms of the employees? If it's 30%, that's pretty good. Okay, if it's above 50%, then you've got concern that maybe it's not being run very well if a lot of employees are only staying a very short period of time. Now, how do you ensure good care once the relative is there? Visit, visit, visit. The more you visit, the staff is going to know that you're kind of keeping track of them, and they're also going to know that the person you're visiting is somebody that kind of counts, it's somebody that's loved, somebody that's cared for. And that's going to carry over to their attitudes towards that person. You should obviously talk to the individual that's there. How do they think it's going? One thing there's something called the Patient's Bill of Rights that applies to all nursing homes that takes any Medicare or Medicaid funds, and that's most of them. And one of the rights is to have an individual treatment plan developed. So when you go out, you can every now and then ask to see the treatment plan and ask the people in charge, how's everybody doing? Are there any changes in it? That sort of thing. The most important right that people get under the Patient Bill of Rights is not to be physically or chemically restrained unless it's necessary to prevent physical harm and unless a physician signs off on it. The horrible stories and the horrible abuses of nursing home care is when patients are kind of put in chairs, restrained physically with ropes or chemically with drugs, and they sit there again before the static TV. If your relative has a lot of bed sores or things like that, then you should be very concerned that these are perhaps signs of abuse. So again, if somebody in your family is starting to show signs that they are not being able to care for themselves adequately, that is the time to begin thinking about home care or about nursing homes.